2 other political parties that are regional. Get them together. I'm not saying you should completely exclude the others, but at least those who are already involved in governance, get them together and let them understand that this is Nigerian interest, not necessarily a political interest. So with bipartisan input, so you know that whoever is there, you know that these are regional boundaries, these are red lines that you will not cross. And this is a national agenda that you will have to pursue, whether you are APC or whether you are PDP or whoever you are, ABGA or whatever. This is a national agenda. And the way you go about it may differ depending on whether you are left-leaning or right-leaning. But then the narrative is the same.
That's a national agenda, a bit of a restructuring meeting?
Something like that.
Do you think it's a political issue? It's an economic issue? Tribal, ethnic? Do you think we need a national conference for it?
We've had a national conference. Unfortunately, I don't know whether it's all inclusive or not. But restructuring is a must. And it's not just a political mantra. It is indeed something that touches the life of everybody. It's economic, it's political, it's our life, generally. Today, Nigeria, the 16 states, 774 local governments, is the most effective way to govern ourselves, which is why we don't have resources to go into infrastructure. We spend resources oiling the wheel of governance. And the cost of governance in Nigeria is too high.
That's the banker in you. Because you're looking at the bank, for example, you have branches, isn't it?
Yes.
And you're looking at what all the branches are bringing in.
Exactly.
So looking at the federation, you think we have so many states and many local governments.
Exactly, exactly. I believe we need to go into that narrative. In the 50s, Awolowo governed a place today that we call 8 states, with maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 commissioners. Today, each of that, that territory has been balkanized into 8, and each of them having executive size, in some cases 20, 30. Just imagine the humongous amount of
and House of Reps
that
as
goes
well.
into that.
If you put all the public officials within the Southwest...
No, this is even state level.
Yes,
when
state
you
level.
then look at the bicameral legislature and all that goes into it, it's just too bogus. At the end of the day, that is why we don't have resources for infrastructure.
So, to wrap it up, in terms of where we need to be in the next couple of years, we spent so much time over the last decades talking about year 2010 and year 2020. We're just about 24 months to year 2020. In fact, we are less than that, isn't it? Yeah, so do you think we need to set a new national agenda? For what year do you think that will be? What should be the fulcrum of that?
A new national agenda should be set by June next year. Whoever gets there should understand that nation building goes beyond a particular party. Get everybody in. You know, like Shagari tried to do in 1979 when he became president. He said, look, let's have an all-inclusive government. Let's all sit down and then fashion out, you know, an agenda for us as a country. And let's look at what we can do together as a people because we've been lagging behind.
I'm not going to let you out of here without touching the banking industry a little bit. What's your thought about how long we have come with this very important part of intermediation or mechanism for oiling the wheel of the economy?
If there's any industry, if there's any sector we should celebrate in Nigeria in the past 50 years, it's the banking sector. Particularly what has happened in the past 15 years, payment system has been transformed. Today, our payment system is not inferior to the payment system anywhere else in the world. And for me, that is something we need to celebrate. Our banks are very, very internationally active now. They play key roles in the oil sector and other sectors that before were not their forte. And today, we have institutions that we can be proud of. And then they are very, very efficient also. There are a few challenges, no doubt, largely because of the structural factors. But then, I think we've come of age.
What's your outlook for 2019? Final word?
Final word, 2019, we should tighten our belt. I think the fiscal space is not there for much spending. We need to pray for government to have enough to spend because I look at subsidy level, I look at debt service, I put the two numbers together. When you add that to recurrent expenditure, I don't see that space for any other thing. We need to tighten our belt, and we need to pray for better. I'm not very upbeat on 2019, unless there are positive developments that have been, unless there are pleasant surprises.
Pleasant surprises. That's the phrase. Unless there are pleasant surprises. Mr. Tunde Demo,
thank you
very much. We appreciate your time coming on the program. Former Deputy Governor at the Central Bank of Nigeria, and of course, the Director at the AFC, and of course, it's doing quite a lot in the financial services sector. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Here we go. The State House has issued a press statement on Christmas Day, issuing very stern anti-corruption warnings to political appointees, government officials, aides to government officials, political party officials, warning them against influence peddling for corrupt and pecuniary gains and other forms of extortion. That was also all over the social media handle of the presidency. The senior special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, says the presidency is now embarrassed by complaints of extortions of innocent people by those described as self-serving name droppers and influence peddlers. How does it get to the corridors of power? So Garba Shehu says the president, therefore, will not tolerate any conduct by anybody to use the president's name to extort money or whatever from innocent people. According to the senior special advisor, those not genuinely committed to division of anti-corruption by President Buhari will be weeded out, and once caught will be punished accordingly. You can find all of that on social media, of course, already. Meantime, there's a new report that says the Federal Capital Territory and 10 MDAs are owing the sum of 178 billion naira, which was secured through the Debt Management Office via bonds and backed by memorandum of understandings. And these monies are due for repayments since December of 2017. If you follow the money, if you missed it earlier at the beginning of the show, we're just recapping that for you as a take-home as you sit back. This is the money. Follow the debt, as it were. The Federal Capital Territory raised 15 billion naira via bonds to fund health and education within the Federal Capital Territory. It's repaid part of that money, about 7.09 billion is still outstanding. Number two, the Ministry of Finance raised 6.3 billion naira for public servants to purchase cars or automobiles called consumer car finance schemes for public servants. Out of the 6.3 billion, 2.66 billion naira is still outstanding and hasn't been paid back. The Bureau of Public Enterprises during the Obasanjo's administration, and of course the private administration, raised a total of 114.5 billion naira. 63 billion of that was to pay back the settlement for the failed Nitel sale to Transcorp. All that was during the Obasanjo's administration, if you remember very well. The sale of Nitel to Transcorp PLC in the early days of Transcorp PLC. And BP got that money to settle that to repay Transcorp for that deal. Then the Nitel, when it was finally privatized, there was a terminal benefit that were due to the workers and others. That was 54.55 billion. That money is still hanging there. It hasn't been paid back. That's the legacy debt. The Bank of Industry is to repay 2.5 billion naira, which was also raised. Ministry of Transport has also been borrowing via bonds to buy locomotives for the various rail projects going on. That's 12.5 billion. Ministry of Defense was also chasing the insurgents, also raised 35 billion to 11.28 billion is still outstanding. Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, 2.24 billion is still outstanding, which was meant for salaries arrears of workers of Ajaokuta Steel Company and the Iron Ore Company in Itakwe. That's all for today. Lay back, enjoy the holiday, and see you back bright and early tomorrow, back to business and the financial markets. Let's keep the door open in the next 24 hours. I am Boosting. I will be right there, live, as always.